I'm Will Coleman, CEO and founder of UrbanGate Capital, and I'm here with
Brandon Thornberry, Chief Credit Officer of UrbanGate Capital.
So we wanted to put together a quick video just to introduce you guys to ourselves and tell you a little bit more about the origins of UrbanGate Capital. So the origins really start with Brandon. Brandon, would you mind giving us the story of how UrbanGate got started?
Yeah, so I started my real estate career purchasing single-family houses here in Nashville, and I would buy them and I'd rent them out, or I'd buy them and I would renovate them and sell them. I was purchasing single families in Nashville for 15 years before I started transitioning into multifamily and commercial.
And approximately how many flips had you done in that time period?
I'd probably estimate around 100.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And about that time, I noticed that in between purchasing deals, I would have money sitting on the sidelines that I wanted to put to use, but I didn't really want to lock it up in a long-term deal. So I started funding short-term loans and quickly realized that I had more deal opportunities than I did dollars. So I started partnering with investors to fund these deals. And that was about the time that I met Will. So Will, can you talk a little bit about kind of what you saw in the opportunity?
I started in commercial banking. I worked in a commercial real estate bank in Texas for a few years, and then worked at a debt brokerage in Knoxville. So I've always been in the debt space. At the same time, I was purchasing some single family houses as well as slowly building up a small portfolio of small multifamilies. And while I was at the debt brokerage, I met Brandon, and Brandon was telling me about these hard money loans that he was doing with his own cash as well as with some partners of his. And he mentioned that he was surprised by the amount of demand he was seeing for these types of loans. And I kind of came up with the idea of us partnering together and building a business together. And I put a business plan together, proposed it to Brandon, and he said, let's do it. Since then, we have done over 125 loans, around 25 million in loan volume, and raised north of 10 million or so from investors. So very excited where we are now. As well, in July of 2022, we launched a debt fund. So we raised capital through our fund and used that to fund our loans. So I thought it would also be helpful, Brandon. We each have separate roles in the company. What is your day-to-day look like within UrbanGate?
Yeah, so as the Chief Credit Officer, I'm kind of the final stop on if we approve or decline a deal. I'm analyzing every deal after our underwriter sends me all the info on it. My role is to just make sure that we're doing quality loans. We always say good properties, great people. And so our borrowers, their level of knowledge and skill in real estate is high priority on the deals that we fund. And then also just making sure that we are in a safe leverage position on our loans. And so that's my major role inside of UrbanGate Capital. Can you talk a little bit about your role?
Absolutely, yeah. So as CEO, I kind of run the day-to-day. I oversee the operations, meet with our team daily, run most of our meetings, and really just kind of oversee the operations, as well as I handle investor relations as well. So an investor relations / operations.
So Will, before we wrap up, can you talk a little bit about what UrbanGate Capital can provide to investors?
Absolutely, Brandon. So what we can do for the investors is that we can offer you a passive investment that earns monthly distributions, and it's secured by a first lien position in real estate, which I think is a really healthy risk-adjusted return for your investment. Thanks for watching, guys. Now that you have learned a little bit more about us, we would love to learn a little bit more about you. If you could go to urbangatecapital.com and click invest if you have an interest in investing with us, or borrow if you have an interest in borrowing from us. So thanks again for watching.